The Aqua actually started way back in the 1950s. A few guys got together and they started a boating association, basically just to take care of some of the waterways in Janesville and the surrounding communities.
A few years later, I think it was 1957, it changed to the Rock Aqua Jays, who started performing shows like on a monthly basis and finally to a weekly basis in Janesville. And then jump ahead a few years, about 1971, where we started getting involved in doing a little bit more show-wise, a couple of times a week. And then in 1975, they competed in the first tournament in Illinois. And then eventually started getting involved in the Wisconsin State Tournament, and we started the national tournament in 1975 also.
I just remember in the early 80s going to a tournament, there's probably 10 teams at a tournament. And now you go to tournaments and you're competing with 20, 25, 30 teams. Everybody just wants to be bigger and better, beat the best.
I think the team is involved in a couple different ways. First of all, in the skiing wise, the acts that you perform on the water have become much more difficult than they were 20 years ago. Now you're talking about having a boat with 750 horses on the back end of it, pulling off 30, 40 people at once to do a pyramid. You have multiple jumpers out there, you have a ballet line of 20 to 30 girls out there. So that way it's become more difficult and the acts have become more precise in what we do. Club-wise, what's evolved over the years is there's been two distinct functions, one to run it like a business and one to run ski shows. And you can't have one without the other. In order to remain competitive and a fun thing to do, you have to have both sides of it.
There are very few sports, very few activities where if you have boys and girls of different ages that you can have them all do something together. Along with, my husband now is driving barge. I've been on the board of directors this year. My kids are very much involved. There just really isn't anything else that you could do that you could have all of your family involved. And everybody can go down to the park and everybody can do it together.
I think it makes practices and shows a lot more relaxed. You know what everybody is like. You're comfortable with each other. You're not wondering, if you say something on the water, you're going to make someone mad. You kind of know where you're at with everybody.
Seeing that I grew up with it, it's just part of what I do. I mean, every summer it was Aqua Jays. It was assumed every summer you spent every day down at Aqua Jays, and that's what you did in my family, part of life.
If you look at some of the families that have been involved with Aqua Jays for many years, it's amazing. You watch dads that have driven boats while kids have skied, and now they're grown adults and tournaments come along and they still want to go hang out with their parents and they still spend time with their parents. It's really neat to watch. The mix of ages in the club really adds to what your kids learn and get from the activity, and it's just a really neat experience, and I think that's one of the things that makes the club most appealing. It's a lot of work, but when you look at the families that have been involved for a long time, wow, it is well worth it.
Part of what my family does, we describe ourselves as water skiers, and the team has become, a major part of the family. Everyone on it I consider very, very close to me, and it's a big family.
It's kind of a motivation because my mom and dad say if you don't do well in school, you're not doing the Rock Aqua Jays.
My best friends are all on the team. I mean, we hang out all year. It's not just a summer thing. I keep in contact with them, almost all of them all year.
I think what makes people join the team most of all is kind of the same situation that I found myself in. And I started skiing when I was 9 years old and have been in it ever since. And it's just a family sport. If you join, if an individual joins a water ski team such as ours, it's a great situation for them. But it's probably double in satisfaction if the family all together joins, because you're spending quality time with your family. You'll find yourself, setting time aside to be with one another, and it's just a terrific experience to be with your loved ones that much.
To me, the team has meant a bigger family. Growing up with so many people and so many friends, I've known them for 20 years, and it's been a place to call home. And whether I had lived in Janesville or outside of Janesville, I know I'd be skiing that summer because it's part of my family and I want to keep doing it.
I never knew what skiing was until we had our pool, so I knew what water would feel like, so I wanted to join.
With our younger members, it's real important that we make them feel wanted, that there's a certain position on the team for them, that they feel like they're needed, basically. So even if they're not, let's say, skiing in the show, we always find a skit, some part of the choreography that they can fit into, or make them a role player off the water, maybe winding ropes or doing something constructive like that.
Well, our 7-year-old daughter wanted to be an Aqua J. We used to go down to the park lot, watch the team ski, and she was bound and determined that she wanted to be on the team, and so she begged us until we gave in.
You see these families get more and more involved, and one family will ask their close friends to join the next year, and I think as people come down and see our shows, see how interactive it is and how fun it is, they get interested and eventually ask about how to join the team, and the next year they're on the team.
We need people of all levels. And if you can ski, join anyways. We'll teach you. That's what we have, the younger team and the B team. To help you learn how to ski. And if you just enjoy the sport or are interested in it, anyone can join.
It's an incredible organization. They're so positive and very high caliber of expectations. They really expect good behavior from the people that are involved. You know that the people that are going to be interacting with your kids care about what they do. They take it very seriously. Your kids learn from the best instructors that really the country has to offer. Some of the people that are on our team are just amazing, and it's just a huge benefit to be able to have kids involved in something of this caliber.
It is a big commitment, but it's an awful lot of fun. I've been on this team since 1979, and if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it.
Our club, looking back at our history, 13-time national champions and multiple regional and state champions, we're a competitive team. We go out to have fun, but we definitely go out to win, and that's an important part, important to us as well as important to our sponsors. We want to represent our sponsors well when we go to these competitions.
To the team, sponsorship could be, from anything to helping us get some more equipment, to finding more people to help us out when we really need it, but it allows us to perform at the level we do. And without the sponsorships, I know we wouldn't be anywhere consistently year in, year out in the top 2 in the nation, and that's hard to maintain.
If we would leave one member back in Janesville, I would be surprised. Any and every member, from social members who just maybe help out selling concessions at our home site, to the most valuable skiing members that are in our show, are always at the tournament. Not to mention the families, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles, the fans that we have back in Janesville. Everybody comes up to these tournaments, especially the state tournament and then the national tournament. We get a great following, and we're glad because it's like we bring our own home crowd to these tournaments that might be away.
We have a lot of younger skiers coming up in the next few years. So that means we're going to do a lot of teaching, but we have a B team is what they're called, or junior development team, where we do a lot of the teaching of the sit docks and how to drop a ski and the learning barefooting and ballet line, just the beginning things. And that's going to be a big push for the next 2 or 3 years, but then after that, those skiers are going to be just absolutely excellent. And the veteran skiers that we have now are just going to step up and they're going to teach these younger kids, and we're just going to be just a dominant powerhouse team is what I see.